boy, today has already been interesting. I've already had one nap. But when you wake up, okay, and I want you, and this is really a serious topic, okay, not just like an intro rant. Um, when you wake up first thing in the morning, okay, all right, and I'm talking about as a discipline, okay, because in your life you have a goal, and your mission of your life is to complete that goal, okay, with discipline, okay, and structure and determination, okay. All right, of course, being strong, determined, all right, to get your goal done, because all right, success equals time plus sacrifice, okay. All right, now this is my formula that I created, okay, and I even wrote 3 books on it, okay, which again, it's a trilogy of books, which I recommend you get. Just type in Kyle Martin. You know how to spell my name. Okay. Amazon book and Google, and it should come up. All right. So let's actually go. Let's go look. Kyle Martin. Let's say Amazon book. Let's just type that in. Okay, and there you go. Is that it? That is it. That is my book right there. Okay, it's called the Pre-Guide of Success. Okay, and out of this Pre-Guide to Success, okay, it should bring up the other ones. Okay, which I don't see. All right, there's 3 of these books. Okay, all right. Of course, one of these it says success equals time plus sacrifice. Okay, but there's 2 others. Here's the other one. Okay, lighten the fuse, and okay, that's the same one. There's one more. Okay, and I'm not seeing it. Do I have to really go to the next page? Okay, not cool. As a matter of fact, okay, this should have the word book in it, and that doesn't even come up. Okay, time is getting on my nerves. All right, so first of all, okay, is this did they change their color? Because this page is not looking like Amazon to me. Okay. Um. Yeah, they changed the colors. Okay. All right. Let's just type in Kyle Martin. Okay. So the book comes up. That's just one. So that's funny because the third one's not coming up. I don't know why. I think it's called Keeping Your Emotions in Check. Okay. But it's not there. All right. So but again, this is not about promoting my book. So let's just get rid of that right now. All right. So but that discipline, okay, that we have, whether you're running a business, okay, you're getting up, like when I was running my HVAC business, okay, all right, um, every day, okay, every day, um, as I was growing my business, okay, it was a routine to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I don't care if I came into the door, especially in the summertime, at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, all right. 5 a.m. was crucial. Okay, because I had to be up. Okay, and I had to be up a couple hours before the supply house opened, because supply house opened at 5 a.m. I mean 7 a.m. And I had to be there before the doors open, meaning that I'm there 5 minutes ahead of time, sometimes 30 minutes. Okay, as I'm waiting for them to open the doors, I'm making my list. All right, because ideally I would like to leave the house, get there a couple 30 minutes early, and waiting for the doors to open, I can make the list of supplies I need to do instead of sitting at my desk and letting time pass. Okay, because I'm getting distracted by other things in my office, so on and so on. Okay, not to mention the fact that I had to make sure I forward all my calls to my cell phone. All right, so this is the thing. Okay, with Cisco, okay, this was not a common thing where I would wake up, okay, at 2 o'clock in the morning. All right, maybe ideally it would be 4 o'clock. Okay, sometimes it'd be two because I couldn't sleep. Okay, but 4 o'clock in the morning, and I want you to think about what you can accomplish before 8 o'clock in the morning, where you have to be there at work. Okay, if you're remote, perfect. Okay, all right, you can work up to the 8 o'clock time. If you are living in Virginia, where Route 66, okay, is murder, okay, or if N95 going to DC is murder, okay, you're gonna be sitting in traffic for 2 hours. Okay, so during that time, traffic was a welcome, because during that time I would listen to audio, okay, whether it was an audio track from the vendor, excuse me, or I would actually just take the video, okay, all right, and just uh, record it, okay, or just slap it in Camtasia and just make it into a file, okay, and I would play it on my phone and just of course you got Bluetooth speaker, whatever, okay, all right, somehow, way, in shape, and form, okay, whether it was earbuds or what, and I mean like the ones with the cord, okay, um, I would listen to that audio, okay, all right, so whenever they were typing, it was just me memorizing, okay, what they were typing, because not to mention the fact they were telling they would speak it as they were typing anyway, so it didn't matter. It was about me still utilizing my time. Okay, make sense? So what we're going to talk about today, which this is not going to be, uh, this actually goes, oops, this actually, let's do a control Z there. All right, this is an X. Okay, X meaning that it could be anything. Okay, this goes bye. Boink. All right, and then we, come on, come on. What's your problem? Why are you not coming out? That's what. Okay, what's going on? Oh, wrong arrow. All right, so la 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 la. Let's pause this again. Okay. Oh, I didn't even realize I pushed on pause. I actually thought I was talking without it being on there. Okay, so let's go in here to say more shapes. Okay, and we want to say network and it doesn't matter if it's a server, who cares, but we want to do um what the hell are they? Products, paraphernalia, locations. Oh, here we go. So computers, 3D. Okay. All right. So now, okay, and bam. All right. So now let's go. All right. And what we're going to do right off the bat, okay? What we're going to do, my server is on. What's going on? I must be not running, I guess. Oh, that's right. I just turned it on. You figure if I just took a nap, I'd be a little bit more sharp. But oh well. Okay, so let's turn on router one. We only need router one. Okay. All right. And there she goes. Oh man, that tea is hot. Perfect. Love warm tea. And I mean like, hot tea, but not 212 degrees hot. All right. So now, matter of fact, I should take a measurement of temperature to find out what temperature I like, and just put it in there while I'm pouring in my milk to the right temperature. But who cares? I'll deal with that anal stuff later. Okay, so what we are doing now is we're discussing, okay, DHCP. Okay, so first of all, a DHCP server, okay, as a PC boots, okay, it literally says as a broadcast message, I am trying to boot. Like, it's not really saying that, but it's literally saying, look, I'm on your network and I am trying to obtain an IP address so I can communicate on your network. Okay? And if a DHCP is on that segment, and I mean, we're going to talk about segments as far as a uh, broadcast domain or whatever, okay? All right, because we can relay those, past that. We are talking about, okay, uh, our network domain, anywhere on our network. All right, I'm trying to grab an IP address. Okay, now if you have multiple DHCP servers, okay, all right, and if you do, I suggest, okay, you isolate them properly, okay, and design them properly where we're not getting random IP addresses across segments and you can't communicate. All right, so now, but most of the time we have one IP address server, okay, like let's say like Infoblox. All right, Infoblox is cool stuff. Nothing I love more when I was working at the hospital was using Infoblox. It was cool for DNS purposes and DHCP purposes. Okay, now someone comes in, okay, all right, and comes in the conference room, all right, and sets up their nice little link sent router, okay, all right, so everybody else could attack so-called wireless network that they created, okay, all right, and still plugging their stuff into the walls, okay. So, or because there's only one jack, someone decided to bring in a Linksys device, okay, that's not just a switch. They decided to get a router slash switch, okay, all right, and okay, they're smart. They beat the system, okay, all right. But what they did not realize is the havoc they had caused, okay, and if you're a CCNA candidate, okay, and then you're starting, and this is a true story by the way, and you go and you start becoming a CCNP candidate, one of the first things you're going to start learning as far as CCP, um, uh, especially when I started, was DHCP snooping. Okay, and it's one thing to actually learn something. It's another thing, okay, to learn something, okay, and then see it as a solution to a problem on a large scale 6 floor building and two closets with each floor and 60 and dual 6500s on each side of the building for each floor. That's 4 switches, okay, times 6, okay, and this problem they have been having for many years before you got there, okay, and the network support team has just allowed this to happen, okay, all right, and had to literally go back all the time and find which blade and switch port that DHCP server is sitting on, killing out at least 255 or 54 possible IP addresses on their floor, okay, that is denied access to the network because their IP addresses are completely wrong and they can't go nowhere. All right. Okay. So at that point, there's something called DHCP snooping. Not a topic we're going to talk about, but now you're self-aware of it to stop that from happening. Okay. To only have your DHCP server that you built for that network, okay, to allocate IP addresses, all right, and to kill any other DHCP messages coming from rogue DHCP servers. Okay, DHCP options. DHCP options are depending on what option you want to use, which is again something we're not going to be labbing today. All right, we're just talking about the theory aspect of it. And options are cool. So let's say like VoIP. Okay, your okay. You said VoIP option like 35. I have no idea what the option is. Okay, so now That DHCP, okay, for the phone VLANs that you have set up, okay, it sends out an option 35 with an IP address 1.1.1.1. Okay, that tells the phone, okay, as it's tagged with that little particular option, okay, if you need to download an image for this phone, this option 35 tells you where to download the image from. So now a fresh phone that has no image on it, organization, can now download the image for that VoIP phone, and now it's configured for that particular phone via software. It's been downloaded. Okay. So again, those are options. If you're using DHCP's options. Okay. All right, and we're probably going to do NTP too. Okay, so now because NTP is pretty simple, so just like DHCP. So the concept of this is to lab DHCP. Okay, all right, all right. So we do not need a diagram because it's just I'm just going to do whatever I'm going to do. So do show IP interface brief, meaning that the IP addresses are not going to be correct. But actually, they probably are because I'm going to use this one. All right, so now, here's the thing. All right. There are debug commands for DHCP, and I was going to run them. That was actually the first thing I was going to do, and I'm not going to. Okay. What I want you to understand is this. When I create a DHCP server, okay, I'm going to start off using a pool. That's all I got to do is set up a pool. Okay, and I can have multiple pools, but make sure that whatever pool you create, okay, the network that you set for that pool matches an interface that's within that network. Okay? Because that's how it works. So if I set up a DHCP pool and it's for network 192.168, okay, well, this interface is 192.200. Okay? It's going to get the DHCP messages, but it's not going to respond to it. Okay? Because the network pool does not match an interface that's live within that network to respond to. Okay? All right, just food for thought. Again, all right. Now, could I be wrong on this? 100%, absolutely. Okay, I can't imagine. I can't even imagine me testing it. I think it was done by mistake. Okay, but nonetheless, I'm pulling from memory. This could be different. So do your own research on that. So remember, question everything I tell you. Now, so we start off with DHCP pool IP. Sorry. Okay. All right. And pool. Okay, I see it right here. All right. Now, sometimes using this helps. Okay, but it just tells you exactly what you're trying to do. Configure DHCP address pools. That doesn't tell you what it does. Okay. All right. We say pool, and line means your discretion. So I'm just going to name it Kyle. Okay. All right. And character. Done. Okay, so now I have a DHCP pool called Kyle. First thing I'm going to do is say network 192.160, about 200.1.0. Okay, and do a /24. Okay, okay, I guess I have to have a space. Huh, I didn't know that. Okay, so now, done. Okay, we have now enabled DHCP. Okay, for that pool. However, the only thing it's going to get is an IP address. Okay, that's one. Two, okay, it's going to give you an IP address from one all the way down to the possibility of the maximum. Okay, so we really don't want to do that, but we'll fix that in a second. Okay, so now, um, default router. Okay, um, 192.200.1. Okay. All right, that's going to be this router. I don't have to set this, but I'm going to. Now, if you set this like I just did, okay, on the network to give out temporary IP addresses because your InfoBlox device, you know, failed. All right, you gotta understand something. You're live. Your interface is up. Unless you're gonna shut down the interface, okay. First, at this point, you are giving out IP addresses, okay. So, like IP addresses that are statically configured, okay, you might not want those to be addressed because then your server's not going to work. You're going to have an IP conflict. Okay? So usually IP DHCP excluded addresses. These are going to be the addresses that are not part of your pool. Technically, you want to do this command first before setting up the network command and enabling DHCP. Okay, in our situation, I could care less. All right, so now we'll say 192.168.200.1.1 to 192.200.1.49. Okay, so the first address we're going to use is 50, right? So IPDH. Okay, let's we'll say section DHCP. Okay, so there we go. We got our IP excluded address and we have our pool. Okay, that's it. I mean, literally, that's it. Okay. Besides DNS. Okay, so let's go back in there. Name server. My bad. Okay. DNS server. I'm sorry. And we'll say 8.8.8.8. Okay. And 8.8.4.4. Okay. Done. Okay. So it's set up. So now let's go to our PC. Yoink. Okay. First of all, we got started. Look at our interfaces. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and start it. Open our console. Now, the cool thing of having PCs and our VMs is using our switch, which we're going to use VLAN 1, okay, and connect switch VLAN 1. We're going to put Ethernet G1 from from the router from the CSR and put that on VLAN 1 and put the PC in VLAN 1. And our lab is complete. It's just that simple. Okay? And so let's. Oh, I thought I disabled that, but oh well. Luckily, I remember the password. Okay, fit to window, right? I guess not. I don't want to enter full screen either. Auto fit window. Nope. All right, just forget it. Okay. All right. First of all, there we go. I had to get that out of there. Okay. So now, boy, you're slow. Okay. So let's CMD. All right. So IP config. Nothing. All right. So now let's go into here. Edit. All right. The first one we're going to send in VLAN 1. Okay, which is already there. Okay. Actually, and who else is in VLAN 1? Number 2. Number 2 is not running, so who cares? Okay, so now, so let's go in here. All right. And put that in VLAN 1. Okay. This brings up the interface from a perspective of, okay, and if we, let's see if we get it. No. Okay, so we go into control panel. Okay. All right, and change this to large icons. All right, and then we go to network. Network. By the time I do this, it's probably already done it, updated. I mean, already sent out another message, but who cares? Okay, so that is odd. What's going on with that? First of all, how do? Oh, there we go. Disabled and enable. Okay, that look. Why does it say the link is down? Um, okay, that's not gonna work if my link is down. And this is just, I don't get that. So let's do this. Let's power off. Power connect on power on. Okay, that's just kind of weird. So let's go ahead and remove this and say okay, and let's add another one. I don't know why it's doing that. It should automatically be up. All right, so add network adapter. Boom, boom, boom. Power. Connect on power on. All right, so let's redo this. Okay, that I mean, to be honest, guys, from that perspective, that's the first for me. But don't be concerned because I have another trick up my sleeve. Okay, okay, it's not even booting. Maybe I have to open up the console again. Okay, all right, that's what I had to do. Man, these VMs are slow. I'll check that. Maybe I don't have more than one CPU on there. That's a good sign. Okay. Do you want to allow? I don't really care. So let's say yes. That's a very good sign. So CMD. Okay, and IP config, and voila, 1.50. Okay, guys, that's it. Okay, that's it. Now let's take a look at our clock. Okay. Now from this is going to be a little interesting because I have to actually have this router be able to hit the internet. Okay. And I can't do that because first of all, I'm not on my network. So let's do this. Okay. I'm going to say interface G1 and I'm going to say, okay, interface G1. Okay. And I'm going to say IP address and I'm going to say DHCP. All right. So that means I am expecting to pull an IP address from DHCP, okay, and it even tells you the method is DHCP, okay, but I need to be on my network, so I'm going to change. Do you remember where I need to put that at? Home network, because that's where my physical interface that connects to my network. For, that means I need to be able to get out, okay, of this VM of this ESXi server. So I'm gonna go here, okay, and here and change this to home network. Okay, done. I'm gonna go into interface G1, shut and no shut. Okay, because I don't want to wait for the time of the messages. Okay, show IP interface brief. Interface is up. Still nothing. It should give you a message when you pull an IP address. And there we go. Okay, so now I should be able to ping 8.8.8. However, show IP route. Okay, and it's already, dude, it's already propagated. Okay, because of the DHCP. All right, so ping 8.8, 8.8.8.8. Voila. Okay, so now that is wonderful because now I can actually go, okay, and la la la, okay, and say Google NTP server IP, okay, perfect. All right, so now okay, let's go down here so I can get a more, because that AI, man, it be giving you wrong information a lot, okay, and I'm not kidding. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and just grab one. All right, so let's talk about NTP and what it really does. Network time server. Okay, all right. So have you ever noticed that when you're at school, that a clock could be 5 minutes off from another clock, and then all of a sudden, it's accurate. Okay, they're both in sync. Okay, I mean down to the point where second, uh, the seconds as they're ticking are perfect. Okay, that is because all those clocks in that school, okay, are synchronized, okay, with a clock server. All right, same thing we're doing here. We're going to use a clock server, which is that IP address here that we just copied from Google. I mean, did I actually copy it? All right, and now, okay, we're going to say show clock. All right, and that's actually pretty. That is actually pretty accurate. How did that happen? Show NTP status. Okay, it's not enabled. Okay, well, but the time is off. Okay, because it says it's 1 o'clock, which is 13, 13, which is military time, right? Okay, so it is off. The date's right, but the time is off. Okay, so now config T NTP. Okay, server, and then we're going to type in this address here. Okay. Um, yeah, I don't see. We gotta be careful because well, access, authentication, broadcast, logging. Okay, all right. Okay, I just want to make sure. All right, because master um uh is what I was thinking about. Making sure I wasn't turning this router into an NTP server itself. Okay, so now, okay, not synchronized. All right, so we're gonna wait. NTP can be a pain in the butt sometimes. All right, and I'm gonna lean back and we're gonna wait. Still unsynchronized. Okay. Now, first of all, we need to find out if we can actually ping. Oops. Okay, so first, let's go here, config T. Do no, I'm sorry. Do show history. Okay, and we need this. Okay, so that's not even reachable. So let's go back and where the hell were we? Okay, public NTP server IP. Okay, so let's look at here. All right, let's just grab this. Okay, all right, let's go back over to here. All right, and ping. Okay, maybe it's not pingable. Okay, all right, Google stuff is always pingable. All right, so let's go back. Okay, that's the same site I was at, wasn't it? Okay, fine. Okay, um, okay, let's do this one. Okay, okay. So to stop the ping is Control V6. Okay, hit hold Control V, hit six a couple times, and it'll stop. So ping. Okay, maybe it's just not pingable. Maybe that's disabled. Okay, either way, we are not getting synchronized. So let's. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can ping it from here. No, I can't. So again, maybe it's something that you can't ping. Now I have no illusions. Okay, all right, and I mean no illusions at all. Okay, this can take a minute. Okay, I mean like to the point where you are freaking out and troubleshooting something you don't need to. Okay, all right. So that's how you set it up. Okay, I'm gonna leave this as a success because I don't want to be sitting there for 20 minutes waiting for this thing to come up and synchronize. Okay, all right. But um, it's probably easier for me to actually create, put the other router, turn the other router on and set up as a NTP's master. Okay, from the concept that um, all your routers can be synchronized from another router in your network. If you don't have reachability, or this command is not working via public, okay? Um, time synchronization is crucial, okay? Time zones are crucial, okay? Because nothing's worse than you going through the logs and your time stamp is way off because your time on the device is off, okay? Time is so important. Okay, there are applications that don't work, that won't work. They just won't be. They just be doing weird stuff. Okay, your services are up and running. They've been reset. You reloaded the daemon. The thing just not working, and it's because your clock is not synced. Okay, all right. So timing is important, especially when we need to find out when did these errors occur. And if your time is 5 hours off, okay, you will never know. Okay, all right. And if you don't pay attention to the time being off, okay, you're troubleshooting something in a time frame that you thought happened yesterday. Okay, all right, and it's way off. Okay, all right. So this can push you in a troubleshooting direction where you're wasting time because your time is off. So time synchronization is very important. Okay. All right. Okay. This is just weird to me. So um let's say Windows time server IP address. Okay. All right. That is accurate. Okay. Um, why we keep going back to here? For real. Okay. No, let's just copy this because this is correct. All right, and I'm gonna see if I can actually copy. Where are you? Am I crazy? I can't copy this? Oh my god, what the hell's going on? Okay, so time. Okay, stop. StyleTownWindows.com. Ping. Time.windows.com. Okay? Alright? Uh, time.windows.com. Okay? So IP domain lookup. Okay? Dude, that's crazy. That is really crazy. Um, I should be able to ping that. Unless they made changes to this. Okay, and maybe I'm tripping. Maybe you could never ping it. Okay, I just know that this works. So config t. Let's see if I have anything on the interface. No. Okay. All right. Okay. Got an IP address, and we know our route is good. Okay. All right. And we could definitely ping 8.8.8 4.4. Okay. Just using a different IP address. Yeah. I mean, we're getting to the internet. All right. So show NTP status. Okay. Bam. It's synchronized. Okay. Because I changed it over to times that window. So now if I do a show clock. Okay. Show clock. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, time zone. Okay, that's the problem. Um. Okay, so this doesn't. This does not prove anything. So no clock set. Okay. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say um we'll say 1 dot okay. All right. Question mark. Okay, this is going to be November. No, we'll say January. Okay, 3. All right, 2022. Okay, show clock. Okay, I'm gonna even. Okay, write the configuration now. All right, I set it to that. Is it UTC? Okay, so let's say Eastern Time Zone, Cisco, Eastern Time Zone. Okay, so time zone is EST. Okay, all right. So now let's go in and say config t time range? No. IP. Okay. NTP. How do I change the time zone? All right. Change Eastern time zone command. Clock time. Oh, it's clock time zone. It's clock time zone. Okay. So clock. Summertime. All right. So let's go into here. Let's say clock set. No. Okay. That's not doing it. Maybe it's a config clock time zone. There we go. Okay. Um, it's not summertime, so do I just say EST? No. Let's type in zone. Okay, so offset. Okay, so I, that's not what I'm looking for, guys. I should be able just to type in EST. And I think it's 5. So let's minus 5. So let's say minus 5. Okay. Um, show clock. That's not right. Okay. But nonetheless, okay. It's been changed. Okay. And it's not even saying EST or UC. It's giving you the name of the zone that I selected. That's not how I could. That's not how I want to do that. Okay. And it just doesn't look familiar to me. Okay. So now. Okay. Show NTP status. Okay, we are synchronized. Show clock. Okay, all right. So now it looked like it took it. Okay, because it's not saying 11 o'clock anymore. It's saying 8 o'clock, which is what it is. Okay, it is November 22. Whereas you see, okay, I had changed that clock. Okay, to this. All right, totally different year and month. Okay, be strong, be determined, be Cisco.